Hello there, and welcome to your GG Replay for Friday, July 23rd, 2021. GG Replay is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday podcast breaking down the latest in gaming news, hosted by the Goodnight Groofs, a place for games and a place for goofs. Still working on the slogan. I am Paul, and of course I am joined always by Matt. How are you doing today, Matt?
Good. It's Friday. Fry-yay, as they
Fry-
say.
Hashtag Friday.
So I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good about it.
Nice.
I don't have any plans this weekend, so I'm just gonna play games.
Love it. That's awesome. That is actually, I think, pretty much what I'm doing this weekend too. So I'm excited.
Nice. First time in a
yeah.
while that I haven't been busy over the weekend, so
That's true. Yeah,
pretty pumped about that, gotta say.
pretty sweet. What are you drinking today? I noticed. Is that Aha?
This is an Aha, yes. What the Coca-Cola answer to bubbly, I guess,
Yeah.
or LaCroix.
Mhm.
Peach. What is this? Peach and honey. Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Nice. Does Pepsi have is bubbly Pepsi, or do they have their own version of like a flavored
Great question. I have
soda?
no
Great
idea.
question, because I feel like that would be something that would make sense to me.
You know what? Well, now I need to know.
Yeah. Now I kind of want to know too. Like I definitely want to know if bubbly is sponsored. Just give us a quick
Pepsi
second
sparkling water is bubbly.
Yeah, okay. Bubbly has a real Pepsi vibe to it, so that makes total sense to me now.
A Pepsi vibe. What gives something
It
a Pepsi
does.
vibe?
Just being kind of cool, being kind of, a little bit quirkier than the competition.
Okay.
A little bit, first, but not necessarily better.
Are
that
you
that whole kind of thing.
Are you a Pepsi over Coca-Cola guy?
So I'm not a cola drinker or much of a pop drinker at all, or soda or whatever you want to say. We say pop up here. But I will say I like Pepsi products more. I think it helps. I was kind of ingrained in me as a young child. My uncle was kind of like an exec at Pepsi for a while, and the whole family drank Pepsi all the time, and we got free Pepsi stuff. So
Really?
he had an entire bar in the basement of his house that was like all Pepsi memorabilia from like the 50s. And he had like all these books on how Pepsi really won the Cola Wars and all this like weird alternate history stuff.
So this isn't like a uncle at Nintendo situation.
No, he really did. Yeah, he really did. I mean, he did get golden handshaked out pretty hard because he was extremely incompetent, but he did work there for a number of years. So
all right. Well,
so
that's I can't believe I never knew that. Maybe I heard it at one point, but
it's probably it was a story I stopped telling, and more and more as I got older, and I realized it kind of sucked. But I got one of those great standees, those like big Star Wars. They had Star Wars, and Pepsi had that big tie-in for Phantom Menace.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I got a huge life size, but like 7-foot tall Jar Jar Binks that was made out of styrofoam. And he was wearing like real leather clothing, and it was like should have been in like a KFC or something.
That is cool.
It was pretty cool. He could have got me any character. They did Darth Vader. They did Darth Maul. They did all these really cool characters.
And you picked Jar Jar.
I didn't pick it. He sent it from Australia.
Oh.
And it showed up, and I was like, oh boy, I can't wait. And it's Jar Jar. So, yeah. Also, by the way, in case anyone wonders, I'm drinking Red Bull today. As you might be able to tell from the exuberance.
Now, as far as the Pepsi Coke debate, I personally like to change it up. I can go either way. Sometimes I'm feeling Pepsi has like this like citrusy vibe to me. I don't know if that's correct or not, but and sometimes I'm feeling like it. I feel like Pepsi feels more refreshing.
I get that. I feel like Diet Pepsi is better than Diet Coke too.
Yeah,
I think Diet Pepsi is much closer to the actual cola taste. As someone who's like, my mom always drank Diet Pepsi, and I was like, this is definitely a better product.
Video games.
Thank you for listening to Soft Drinks Podcast. The Pop Shop. No, this is an idea for a future podcast. This is game. Well, it's not Game Groofs. It's GG Replay. Although if you're a Patreon, you could be listening to Game Groofs right now instead of this dumpster fire. Corrections from the previous show. We didn't have any, we're perfect once again. But just a reminder that if you catch anything that we say that sounds wrong or off, feel free to send those corrections to ggreplayshow@gmail.com or pop on down to the YouTube comments below and write an angry little actually post about it. And we will make sure to mention you and make sure we correct it in the next episode. It has happened before. It doesn't happen very often. That's because we're fantastic fact checkers, but also because we don't have a lot of listeners yet. But you could be the first. You could be the first to write in. I think there were other ones. Anyway, let's talk about the first story today. Starting out in a bit of a bummer. We're going to move our way up in order of fun. I don't know if that's actually true, but this is definitely the most depressing story we have. I'm sure you've all heard about it by now. Activision Blizzard is being sued by the state of California, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, in fact, over what is described in the investigation as frat boy culture in the workplace. So there was a 2-year investigation that the state of California took against Blizzard. They went through, they looked into a lot of things. Basically, the suit alleges sexual harassment, employment discrimination, and retaliation on the part of Activision Blizzard against these employees. A lot of it sounds, I mean, after 2 years, you get an investigation like that. It's hard to say that, none of this is true. It's pretty hard. It'll be hard for them to fight this, I think. But they will.
Well, some of it is, some of the really egregious stuff is so specific.
I know.
That it's like, I mean,
and then you name the names and everyone comes out and goes like, oh, I knew that. So it's tough. Specifically targeting, not targeting, but talking about the WoW team too, and devs. I mean, we can just say Alex Afrasiabi. That's a name, that the only real name that gets dropped. Who's a huge dev from WoW, from before WoW, and a big Guild Wars contributor before, or not Guild Wars, sorry, EverQuest contributor. So. Blizzard put out a statement afterwards saying that basically these accusations do not represent Blizzard as it stands today. And this goes for Activision Blizzard in general, and that the allegations are distorted and false depictions of the past. So they went all in. They said, hey, listen, this is untrue and slander. So we'll see how that plays out. Good luck to you. Not actually, bad luck. This morning, Jason Schreier actually tweeted a company-wide email from J. Allen Brack, the president of Blizzard, for the last few years. Sourced within the company, it was basically a company-wide email that basically doubled down on the original post. I mean, we had less of them saying, hey, this is untrue, more just saying, hey, listen, if you feel like you're discriminated against, you can come to a boss, and hey, we're not like that. This is all just like, this is all just sad and depressing, and I'm so sad that this happened. No real, I mean, it's obviously we're not expecting admission of guilt, but there could be more of a point, I think, to be made in the email to be like, hey, we're going to do better. And it wasn't really in there because I think it was kind of the intention was we're already doing better. And I mean, we can just take a split second to talk about in the email the revered saint of the Brack household, Gloria Steinem.
Yeah, that was
J.
weird.
Allen Brack has a whole part in the middle where he talks about how he was raised a feminist and how he would never allow anything bad to happen against women. And it's like, sounds like you did, dog. So I don't know about that.
Paul, I don't actually know who Gloria Steinem is. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, Gloria Steinem was a hugely prominent feminist from the 60s and 70s and into the 80s. Classic, like burn your bras, like leading the women's rights movement, equal rights amendment, that whole kind of thing. So that was Gloria Steinem, and she wrote a ton of books on it. And she really is basically, if you Googled feminist, in fact, if you do Google feminist, the first one to come up is Simone de Beauvoir, who basically invented the idea, and then it's Gloria Steinem.
So she's like the starter of the modern movement. Then
definitely definitely the start of the 20th century, especially like 1950s onward feminism that we're seeing. Was definitely paved what they call like second wave, I think, feminism. Not that I'm claiming to be an expert, but that's Gloria Steinem. So basically, if you Google it, Gloria Steinem's the first name that comes up. So it wasn't really an impressive deep pull there for J. Allen Brack. Not to make light, obviously it's a very serious issue, but just what an embarrassing email to put out. It was pretty cringy. Matt, do you have anything to add to the story?
So I will say regarding the email, like while he wasn't like taking responsibility or really like apologizing at all, but at least he acknowledged that there was something at some point, sort of, whereas the other email that came out that came from another Activision Blizzard executive was the similar messaging for the statement where they came out not denying but saying that it's like a distorted view or whatever. You have two executives giving two sort of different views on this in these internal emails. So that was weird.
Yeah, it was.
So like I don't want to like give J. Allen Bratt credit here for anything, but I will say at least there was some sort of acknowledgement of something, like versus the other email, which was just
it was
totally
hard to do worse. It was hard to do worse than the original PR response. That was basically like, this is all lies and it's all bullshit, and the government's after us, and it was like, oh man, this is really, really defensive.
Oh, the other thing I did see, Paul, going through some more of the stuff today, was like there was like a thinly veiled threat in the original statement that they're like, well, we may just leave California.
Yeah,
so that was also just weird.
The whole thing's gross. As resident Groof Mike was actually talking a lot about this, and I'm sure he'll have more to say later. And we talked about it in Game Groofs a bit this week too. We talked about this story in general in Game Groofs a lot this week, but he has a business management degree and was talking about how this is like basically the exact opposite of what they teach you in crisis management. They're doing, like, regardless of what they did or didn't do, they're doing an incredibly terrible job telegraphing it from a business perspective, trying to like do any sort of damage control. But I don't really feel too bad for them because the allegations are pretty horrible. So obviously we're not going to go through it here, but you can definitely go look it up. The full text of the lawsuit, I think, is online.
Yeah, you can read the entire thing.
You can read the whole thing. It's very eye-opening. I mean, obviously you can't verify everything too, like in terms of going forward, but I mean, you can go on Reddit. You can find a lot of people coming forward too and saying a lot of things now in different places on the internet.
Twitter too, yeah.
Take that, Twitter too. So take that as you will, but you know, a lot coming out about Blizzard, and it does make you go in hindsight, look back a little bit. I noticed people. I don't know if you saw this one that got posted on our WoW today, but it was the 2010 BlizzCon thing.
Yeah,
did you see this?
I saw that.
And there was a woman who basically said like, "Hey, can you make your characters look less like Victoria's Secret models?" And essentially, like, especially they had Afrasiabi, of course, and then other, they had Brack was there and Tom Chilton, and basically everyone was kind of laughing, boys club, and just saying like, "Oh, what model, what catalog do you want them to come out of?" So I think looking back, we're going to see a lot of this stuff too. I mean, you can read anything with hindsight, but I think it just taints the image, regardless of everything else too. It's gonna be hard looking back and not seeing this kind of influence at Blizzard for a while. So
yeah, and I saw that video and it was bad, but it is also important to remember that a lot has changed in 11 years, and as far as those sort of attitudes. So I don't know if that was like evidence of that specific video was evidence of.
I'm not saying it's evidence of sexual misconduct. I'm just saying it's like kind of I mean, it's not like there were people 11 years ago who weren't saying, who weren't like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, not everyone had to act like that 11 years ago just because it was more accepted. But anyway, regardless, I thought that was an interesting one. But yeah, I think we're going to keep an eye on this. Obviously, I don't think we'll be talking about it as in depth, but definitely over the next couple of years, I'm sure we're going to have a lot come out at the lawsuit, and a lot of things are going to change at Blizzard, either by choice or by demand. So we shall see.
Yeah, we did go pretty deep into this on Game Groofs, so episode 5, so check that out.
Mm-hmm. But it's fun too if you want to listen. There's fun parts,
yeah,
and then there's us talking about Activision Blizzard parts, less fun, but really good. I think
it's just one of those things like that we kind of just like had to do.
Same like today.
And I'll say like these sort of stories on like the business side of and like lawsuit side of games is not something that'll often come up in Goodnight Groofs, but with something like Activision Blizzard, which is a company that has been so close to us personally for so long, it's definitely something that had to be addressed.
Yeah. It's tough. We're all WoW players. We talk about it all the time on Game Groofs and on Replay. So it's important for us to talk about that. And I think not everyone, but a lot of people in the gaming community have been touched or been involved with WoW. And so I think it's important to talk about. Moving on to stuff that is a little more exciting and less depressing. We have finally, after all of the rumors, Dead Space Remake revealed during EA Play Live 2021. The short teaser. We already talked about this about a month ago. Jeff Grubb leaked it. Not a whole lot. We saw some in-engine footage. It did look good. I tried to watch it. I mean, no, sorry, I watched it. I tried to find anything that was interesting. It didn't really grab me, but I'm not really a Dead Space guy. I never played it, so I didn't really know what to look for, I guess. But it did look cool. I think I'll probably give it a go when it comes out. Matt, what is your take? Did you watch it? Did you watch all of the rest of EA Play as well, or?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing
Yep.
live. I wasn't. You're right. The trailer was interesting and intriguing, but there wasn't a lot there. If
It's
you're
more
like
just confirming a rumor, really. Yeah.
if you're a big Dead Space fan, I guess like, well, first off, the leak already happened. We'll talk about that in a second. But when the characters like the tube on his back lights up, I guess that would be a big moment if you didn't know that it was coming, because that's obviously a signature thing in Dead Space. Really cool early on, innovative thing in games too, where that was how it was representative of your health in game.
So cool.
So that's cool. This is something that I'm interested in. I didn't play the originals. Just have never been super into horror games, or at least wasn't back then. Now I'm more open to it. So I'm interested in this. The in-engine footage, like you said, was impressive. Frostbite's looking good.
Frostbite's great. It's a good engine.
Yeah, but I want to ask you, Paul, because this was leaked like a month ago, and we talked about it on GG Replay when it first happened. What are your thoughts on it's happening more and more now too? Jason Schreier used to really be the only source for this kind of thing. But now we have guys like Jeff Grubb, so there are guys with more insiders and sources now.
Special Nick.
Yeah. So these type of people are popping up more. What are your thoughts on these announcements being leaked?
I mean, I'll come just from the tech world, from someone who follows smartphones and tech stuff a lot. It all gets leaked heavily, just manufacturing. A lot of the stuff comes through manufacturing. So then you have Ming Kuo, who always does iPhone leaks, or there's a whole bunch, and this stuff always comes through. So I mean, I'm kind of used to things being leaked a lot, following those areas a lot. Games obviously too, but I will say games were not as often leaked in my experience as they are now. They're really getting leaked a lot. Like almost every announcement is being leaked, like a month or more ahead. It feels almost intentional, that they're letting it be so easily leaked. Just because they're all being leaked like a month ahead. Like, what's the you know what I mean? Like, I think they could lock something down. And by they I just mean people in the industry. Maybe it's hype, maybe I think that they might want to talk to Schreier and just like give him a little something, and he can extrapolate from there.
Get some clout.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets people excited for something before it even happens, and then it's like there's an announcement for an announcement, and then on the actual announcement you can have a little teaser, and that's exciting. But there was already hype before the teaser. I don't know. I think it's fine. Again, like I said, I'm just used to leaked announcements a lot, and knowing what's going to happen before it's finished. So it is what it is. But what are your thoughts, Matt? I feel like you have a bit of an angle since you asked the question.
It's possible that because I'm not like in the tech world like you are, that I just think that a tech announcement isn't necessarily as punchy as a game announcement, where like people have obviously like people are loyal to brands and tech and stuff too, but people get really involved in video games and franchises and stuff like that. And I just feel like these leaks ruin surprises. And I'm really getting tired of it, because everything in E3, nothing was a surprise. I guess Elden Ring was a surprise, but people also kind of just saw it coming. It's just it's ruining these shows, and I miss the days where I would watch it, not know what was coming, and then all of a sudden you see something in the trailer and you're like, oh, is that this? And then you see another thing and you're like, okay, I think maybe this is really this, and then it's confirmed. They show a character, they show a logo or something, and then everyone goes wild and goes crazy. That doesn't happen now, because you expect it to happen.
Like that Fallout 4 announcement that happened with the Fallout Shelter follow-up and all that kind of stuff was really iconic, because I don't think really anyone thought they were going to announce it like that. And be that far along. So I mean,
how awesome would this Dead Space reveal have been for the fans if they didn't know what was coming? And Dead Space is, people like it. It's not like this franchise that's beloved by everyone.
But it's definitely a cult. It has a cult following.
Yeah, it has a cult following. And so that would have been cool for them. I think part of the reason why we're seeing these leaks is because these companies are getting so big.
Yeah.
There's just more and more people employed in these companies, and the more people you have, the more likely you're going to have someone leaking information.
Leaks, absolutely.
So
Trier just has to find the weak link, and then it's over.
Exactly. So I'm disappointed by it. I don't think there's a way to slow it down unless companies start getting more like litigious about it. But then also like, I don't know. It's probably a waste of time for them. It could also be
It's hard to track a leak. I think they're already pretty serious about non-disclosures and things like that. But I mean, it's hard to track a leak. You have to be investigative.
There was one company. Who was it? There's one company who recently said that they were going to be more stringent about it. It might actually have been Sony. That they were going to start going after leakers on like forums and Reddit and stuff like that more. Like known leakers. I guess there's an anonymity angle to it as well, where you just can't, really do much. But I hope these leaks slow down a little bit. The last 4 or 5 years, it's gotten really bad, and I just want to be surprised during the shows again. I don't want to go into the show knowing everything I'm going to see.
It's tough, and I think the more we get instant communication, the things we have now. I mean, it's it's smartphones, being able to snap pictures and things, and that's a big thing with the smartphone leaks. People are like, you get some guy in a factory just like snap an ugly like grainy picture of the new model with their phone, and then they'll probably get fired. But like it's out there now, it's over, and it happens so fast. And I think games even the same kind of thing, right? I mean, people can just like grab little things, send an email, forward it, and you can put things through. I mean, there's a technology out there is just so easy to get this stuff out. It's hard to imagine it getting better at tracking leaks. But
I was just thinking about how like Hogwarts Legacy was leaked like via a video. They were doing like focus testing in a mall or something like that, and someone got a video of it, and then like everyone thought it was fake because the announcement didn't come for like 2 years after that or something crazy.
Yeah.
And so that was a wild leak. And that's another thing. Like leaks are also so easy to fake now. So it's like, who knows what to believe.
Moving on to something that is pretty exciting. Also leaked, isn't it? All leaked. Battlefield 2042 Sandbox Portal mode. This is the big thing. Announced at EA Play Live 2021 as well. But it did leak just a little bit before, not too long, so that's not bad. But those are the worst ones for me because you think you made it through, and then all of a sudden on the day you're excited, and they're like, "Oh, here's the big secret thing. Yeah, here we got it a couple hours early."
I think it was Game Rant or something like that posted an article about it, and I think EA came down on them for it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. That's a pretty bad play, I think, at that point. Just let it play out.
Just wait.
Just wait a little bit, I mean, but then you don't get the clicks.
Have your article ready. Be ready to have it all prepared and click publish as soon as the game's announced.
No, you got to get that world exclusive.
Yeah.
This mode will allow players to create their own game modes in Battlefield, which is pretty cool. You can make whatever the heck you want, including a logic editor. You just can't actually edit the map. But the coolest thing is that you have content from Battlefield 1942, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, all updated with the Frostbite engine, and even some content from 2042. Is that now, or is it going to come later?
It's going to have all the content in that game also in this mode.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry. I didn't know if this was coming out as a separate release. And 6 remastered fan favorite maps from those games, and 7 total from Battlefield 2042. Pretty awesome. I love that they're going to include, again, we're talking, I mean, as we talked a couple weeks ago about Assassin's Creed Infinity. Pretty cool to have kind of a main hub where you can pick different things. Really cool to see them actually get remastered fan favorite maps from different eras, especially when the eras are so different, like 1942 and the stuff in Bad Company and the stuff in 2042. Really, really cool to see all those different styles represented in one game.
I don't know why Battlefield 2 was completely left out of this, unless they just took...
Yeah, I thought that too.
Unless they just went with Bad Company 2 because they wanted something from that general, like, era, but they didn't want to pick Battlefield 2 and then also Bad Company 2. So I don't know. But
kind of weird.
This sounds really cool. One of the modes that they presented was it was like 4 modern fighters or something like that from like 2042. So I guess
Cool.
near future fighters.
Yeah, near future. Yeah.
Against like 36 1942 soldiers. And so like they had lower technology, but they had the numbers. I think the mode they called it was quality over quantity, or quality versus quantity, or something.
Cool.
There was also a mode with these everyone's playing as like 12 robots against one tank. So like
that is awesome. I love that. It's kind of like a battle simulation.
Yeah.
But you get to play through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wild. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so just really, really cool modes like that. And you can mix and match weapons with different generations. And
yeah,
it looks really interesting. And I feel like people who are really good at this stuff are going to get really smart about it and create some cool modes. And who knows, because we've seen game editors, map editor sort of things like this spawn off entirely new genres.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Who knows what comes out of this?
How soon are we getting Super Mario, the original game, 2D in this? Probably day one, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's not going to take long.
Yeah, it'll be pretty exciting. Some also cool game news, from Matt's new favorite game, Genshin Impact. Character from his old favorite game, Horizon Zero Dawn. We got Aloy coming. Aloy coming to Genshin.
I think it's a play on the word alloy, though.
Aloy, yeah. We have Aloy coming to Genshin Impact. Pretty weird. I mean,
it is,
especially because I don't think Genshin Impact really, from what I've seen, doesn't even really share characters from their other Mihoyo games. And doesn't really seem like they normally do stuff like this. Like it's not like Fortnite where they've like included a bunch of characters from different properties. And then all of a sudden they just bust out with Aloy. How much Horizon stuff is happening on PlayStation, I think. Horizon. Genshin Impact stuff is happening on PlayStation. That's what made me wonder. I'm imagining like PC, maybe mobile. I didn't really think there'd be a lot of players on PlayStation. Kind of crazy. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, this is weird. The anime version of Aloy looks pretty cool though.
Yeah, it does.
They haven't shown like the in-game version, but they had like concept art of it, I guess you would say. I don't know if this is like an indicator that Sony is going to be more willing to share their toys going forward, play a little bit nicer with other companies. Maybe, maybe not. Obviously Genshin Impact has made a boatload of money, so maybe they just went to Sony and were like, we'll pay you a ton of money to put Aloy in this game so that we can attract some new players that might not have otherwise tried it. And Sony was maybe just like, yeah, sure, I guess. Who cares? But I don't know. Like Aloy is a major new mascot for PlayStation, so you would think that they're pretty protective of that. So either they were just paid so much money that they couldn't say no, or they like believe in Genshin Impact in some way, or maybe they're gonna get some massive cut of profits for people buying an Aloy character or something. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure exactly how Genshin Impact works. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know. It's weird, but kind of cool.
Interesting. Is that a PlayStation exclusive, or is that just for everyone? Did they say?
I think it's a timed thing.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure.
From what I gathered, it just seems like
I don't even know if it was mentioned in the article, to be honest.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing, she's free on PS4 and PS5.
Okay, so free, but
it looks like maybe you can buy on someone else.
Okay.
Nope. It's just you. If you log in on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, she's free. Doesn't look like you can get her any other way.
Wow. Okay, then that is really strange. I don't really understand. I guess Mihoyo or Miyo? Is it Mihoyo?
It is. I'm looking at it right now. It is. Where'd it go?
It's Mihoyo, right?
I think it's
They must have just
Mihoyo.
backed up the Brinks truck or something.
You must have. Well, I think it's a smart idea though, making it like that, because then it rewards players who already have a Sony console who like Sony properties to like come try out Genshin Impact. Whereas it may not even have much of an impact on and it might make you go like, oh, I better I've only ever played this game on my phone and I didn't love it, but let me try it. I guess I'll log in on my PS4 just to have that character.
True.
And then you're like, oh, it's actually pretty fun on PlayStation.
True.
I don't know.
And I think Sony probably gets a larger cut of microtransactions within Genshin Impact than like Microsoft gets. Wait, it's not even on Xbox. So
is it not? I don't know.
No. So yeah, I mean, they're just getting. I guess they're just trying to get people to play this specific game on PlayStation platforms, which makes sense because it's making a ton of money through microtransactions, and Sony gets a big cut of that. So
it's the kind of game that I think makes total sense to have on PlayStation. It's like a JRPG kind of thing. It's light, it's fun to play. It's got kind of console controls. Yeah. I mean, why not try to see if it hits, and then maybe if it's a big deal on PlayStation, it really takes off more than it ever was before. Maybe Sony will buy MiHoYo all of a sudden. Who knows?
Their big update for Genshin Impact just came out, so I will try the game on my PS5 at some point.
That's a good idea.
My list is so long recently.
It was fun. Speaking of PS5, little perk for PS5 players. So I will tell you right now, there's some great stuff. One of the greatest things, I just got a new iPhone. One of the greatest things about getting a new iPhone, you get access to Apple TV Plus. You get I think it's 6 months now. It used to be a year. And you get access to Apple Arcade, all kinds of cool service things for free for a while. But that was cool. But otherwise, they're kind of expensive. I mean, like just for what's on there, you got some good stuff. You got Ted Lasso. You got Mythic Quest. There's probably other stuff. But
it's
those
interesting
are like
that you say
really
that.
Good shows.
I was gonna say, so like when you. So I did this. I got the 6 free months because I have a PS5, and so all you have to do is download the Apple TV app.
That's the story. Actually, I didn't say what the story is yet, but PS5 players get 6 free months of Apple TV Plus. That's the big thing right now. It's not just on the iPhone anymore. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
So you download the app, and then you sign in with your Apple ID, and you automatically get six months. And obviously, it signs you up to subscribe when you do that. And you can immediately cancel, and you still get your 6 free months. I didn't cancel. I might down the line, but I realized it's only $5 a month.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
I didn't realize that it was so cheap. But like you said, I don't know if there's a whole lot for me yet. I'm really interested in Mythic Quest. I've been wanting to watch it since it came out. And Ted Lasso, I've heard nothing but great things.
Nothing but great things. I think I'm over like hyped. Like everyone's gotten me too excited for Ted Lasso. I'm worried it's not going to live up, but apparently it's great.
So yeah, I mean, they both sound great. I want to check them out. I've heard the second season of Mythic Quest is actually even better than the first season. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I think Mythic Quest is like a show that is like right up my alley.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, it's about a studio that's supposed to like mimic Ubisoft, I think. And then it's also like about them developing like a fantasy-based MMO, I think.
Yeah.
So, or if it's not an MMO, it's some sort of multiplayer game.
It's definitely something like an MMO light or something like that. Definitely, yeah.
So it just seems like right up my alley. And I know Ubisoft actually consults on the show, which is kind of cool.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I'm looking for.
I love Rob McElhenney. Love Always Sunny. So this will be really cool. I'm really psyched for you, and I'm excited for myself too, because I actually haven't redeemed that 6 months myself. So I'm going to do that for being a new iPhone guy, and you can do it for being a PS5 guy. And anyone else out there who wants to do that, so this is just for PS5, or can you do this if you have a PS4, or it's a PS5 thing?
Just PS5.
Wow. So if you were lucky enough to manage to get a PS5, you're also lucky enough to get 6 free months of Apple TV Plus. You probably only need a couple weeks to watch all of the varied content on there, but you never know. Some more stuff might come out, it might hook you.
Paul, how does this sound? If we time it where we each watch like the first season of Mythic Quest at the same time and then the second season, what if we did like a spoiler cast one-off video type thing to discuss like each season?
Yeah, it sounds like a blast. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
That sounds like a blast.
Tease for the listeners.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. That's a lot of fun. We should. I've been thinking for a while. Sorry, I don't want to go on for too long, but I've been thinking for a while that it'd be cool to do a little bit of like pop culture, especially when it's like gaming adjacent. So we'll talk about that. So yeah, if anyone's interested, hit us up on the old emails, on the old everything, or if you pay us some money, you can hit us up even more on our Patreon. And that reminds me, we have a Patreon. It's www.com/patreon. Wait.
www.com. That won't take you anywhere.
That won't take you anywhere. It might take you. Maybe that'll take you to the true ruler of the internet.
That takes you to the center of the internet.
Yeah, it does. No, it is www.patreon.com/goodnightgroofs, where you can pay. We have a $1, $3, $5 tier. $1 tier gets you direct access to us. $3 tier gets you Game Groofs 2 days early. And also the $5 tier, I believe, gets you all of that stuff. Plus, Matt, what was the $5 tier? What's the big thing with that? It's
You become
we thank you.
an honorary Groof. Yes, you show up in the credits of the show, and on Game Groofs, specifically the weekly podcast, you get a shout out, a personal shout out at the end, a personal thank you.
Personal thank you, because you know what? If you game, you're probably a Groof. So you know what? Join us here. Throw us a buck. We love, if you just want to throw us a comment, throw us a like. This is also an audio podcast. If you're not already listening on an audio service, we are on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, all that kind of stuff. If you drop us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, that would be much appreciated. If you don't have any money to spare, it's totally fine. We get it. But reviews, likes, comments, emails, any of that stuff just makes so much of a difference in the algorithms, and it just makes a difference to us to know that we're reaching people. And we love to do this show, and we'd love to do more shows and produce more content for y'all. So yeah, anything that you want to interact with us or give to us is so helpful, and we will pay it back in kind with entertaining content, we hope. I don't know, Matt, do you have anything else to say? I guess plug we have our website, goodnightgroofs.com. And in addition, we have a blog there. We have our other show, Game Groofs. Don't forget to listen to Game Groofs on Sunday. That is when that comes out, Sunday morning. But to our Patreon, so that's actually already out Friday morning. So yeah, anything else to plug there, Matt?
No, that's perfect. You did it wonderfully, Paul. I couldn't have said it better myself. And I'm off to taste test some Pepsi versus Coke.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, there's our next idea for a podcast. All right. Well, you do that. Enjoy that. Play some games all weekend while drinking, taking sip after sip of changing between Pepsi and Coke, and then that'll kind of teach you the differences. And until so that's it. That's it for Friday. That's it. We're losing steam. It's Friday. It's July 23rd, 2021. We're almost at the end of July, folks. We're getting to August. We're getting to that teaser app for Blue Box. The excitement is mounting. Until Monday, that is it for GG Replay. Good night, Groofs.
Friday.